Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. This is Instant Movie Reviews with Raina and Drew.
I'm Drew. Just kidding. I'm Raina.
Blooper immediately. So it's another Thursday night preview, and it is kind of a foggy, dark, rainy day. It's supposed to be extremely rainy later, so it will probably be a little wet when you see us later. And we are going to see the Thursday night preview screening of
Hokum.
Hokum.
A big Adam Scott fan. He's had a lot of hits recently. I love him in Severance, but a lot of people know him from, I think it's Community and similar comedy shows. He seems to be into horror. He was the dad in The Monkey, and he had very brief scene.
Mm-hmm.
He has another film coming out later this year where he is a father whose son has been abducted, and he's trying to track down a serial killer, and it's being billed as like a horror thriller. So Hokum seems to be similar. I really like the other film that the person who made this made. Do you remember what it was called?
Oddity.
Okay, yes. So I saw Oddity. I saw it on streaming because I wasn't sure from the trailers if I was really going to like it to see it in theaters. And I think it had a limited release anyway. I don't think we really got much of a release. Very, very good. Loved it. So if this is anything like Oddity, it's going to be very well made.
The last I checked on Rotten Tomatoes, this had been sitting at like 97% earlier in the week, but now that it's getting a wider release and more people have seen it, it slid down to a 90. But that's still very good reviews for a horror film.
It's already beat Mother Mary, which I still enjoyed, but like that one's just tanking.
Yeah, this one looks like it's going to be more of a straight horror film than Mother Mary, which was really more of a drama with some supernatural spooky elements to it.
Yeah, we still never got to hear spooky action.
Yeah.
Like I even went and looked up the album. It doesn't exist. Are you kidding me? After all that. Sidebar. Okay, so this film, from the trailers that have been released, it seems like this guy's parents have both passed on. He's gone to Ireland. He's a writer. He wants to stay at the hotel that they went to on their honeymoon, and he wants to spread their ashes. And when he gets there, there's some Shining vibes, it feels like. We're seeing some, obviously, callbacks to The Shining. I like it when filmmakers do callbacks, but it's not a direct copy. So it does come off just like Easter eggy callback. It doesn't seem like it's like, oh, we're going to rip off The Shining, right?
Yeah, as soon as I heard that this takes place in a haunted hotel, I was like, as a rabid Shining fan, both the movie and the book, I love that setting, and it's so ripe for spooky activity. I actually stayed in a hotel out in British Columbia a couple years ago that I am pretty certain was haunted.
Yeah, I did one in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
And
I love that. So the imagery looks spooky. It's getting good reviews. I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah, me too. And I just really like him. I think he's really good at suspense, especially after seeing him in Severance. I love it when guys who are into comedy make these jumps to something that's more of a thriller kind of thing, because sometimes it really lands. Like, it's kind of like Jim Carrey, my favorite movie in the world is Eternal Sunshine, and I have to remind myself sometimes it's Jim Carrey because I forget he's a comedian, because in that role, I'm not looking at Jim Carrey. And I find Adam Scott is the same way. Like in these roles that he's doing, I completely forget about his comedy characters. He's just very good, very committed. It also looks like it's shot in a really cool way that Drew and I tend to enjoy with these films. So I think the cinematography is going to be good. Sound also seems to play a big role in this. I've noticed in the trailers there's this consistent theme of bells. And you also, over the trailer, you hear this guy saying some kind of a poem or something, and that's going to be interesting. And then at the end, you always get this jump scare with this creepy mask, this weird rabbit mask or something. So,
yeah, I do know what the rabbit mask is.
Oh, do you?
It has been announced what it is. I'm not going to say it because we're going to be spoiler free. I did use an image of that in the community post that I made announcing that this will be our next review. So I'm looking forward to see how that gets incorporated into this movie.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's funny, Drew and I were just talking about how when we do this filming, we're using the phone and we have to put it on a slightly wider angle to fit us.
Yeah.
We're sitting up straight, but because this is concaved, we look like we're slouching. So I keep trying to sit up more, and I'm looking at myself and I'm like, we're sitting up really straight. The other thing you might notice is it tends to warp us a little bit on the sides, but we need to have the camera somewhat close to do this kind of filming, so that's why you're getting it. I think it's fun. And I did get my face treated, like I said, but I've covered it with makeup, so I'm hoping it's not going to show up too much. But Drew and I are going to go actually squeeze in a dinner before we go do this.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good. I'm curious if your tummy will end up gurgling.
I'm getting steak, so that shouldn't upset it. Shouldn't upset it, but if it stresses me out, it may gurgle a little bit.
And my 4-year-old keeps asking lately if he can come to these movies with us. And I keep telling him, buddy, they're adult movies and they're very scary. And he's like, oh, well, when will I be an adult?
Just show him the rabbit mask thing from this and he'll be like, no, I don't want
Yeah,
to see
no, thank you. But I am looking forward to the day when, 10 years from now or so, we can all pile into the car and go to scary movies. It'll be fun. Yeah. Okay.
So let's go have our dinner and then we're going to go see Hokum, and we'll be back in a few seconds to let you know, did we think that it lived up to the hype, or is it one of those ones where the critics loved it and we're a little mid on it? So we'll see you in just a second. It was a dark and spooky evening. We are coming at you in the fog and the rain and the darkness.
And like the condensation. And it's like the very, very end of April and it's freezing cold.
Yeah.
Where is the spring? Do we just skip spring, apparently? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that movie did a really good job with the trailer of not giving things away. I thought I was going into a standard ghost story, but it was not. I mean, it was a ghost story, but it had elements of murder mystery, elements of grief, and I think I said to you in the theater, it reminds me of aspects of 1408 and also The Woman in Black.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like take those movies and kind of squish them together in Ireland.
Yeah. What it sort of reminded me of, and again, this is the gamer in me talking, but I said to you that kind of felt more of a Silent Hill film than some of the Silent Hill films that they actually made.
It felt like it was based on a video game. At one point I was like, this feels like an escape room.
Yeah. And it kind of reminded me of like Fatal Frame, and like there's
definitely
there's
Fatal
like
Frame.
elements of like needing to find items to like unlock new areas, and it felt very survival horror to me. As a fan of that genre, I loved it.
Absolutely felt like survival horror.
Yeah.
Absolutely felt like a survival horror game. Adam Scott was phenomenal.
Yes,
I
he was
thought
great.
he's a bit of an asshole character in this, which I wasn't totally expecting after
He's
him.
so mean from the very get-go.
Yeah.
I was
Very unlikable.
Yeah. Which is bold to make your protagonist like a truly abrasive, nasty piece of work.
He's very unlikable, and all the side characters are quite lovable, and the goats.
Yeah.
So they sound like...
Fortunately, there was less goat screaming in this than there was in Thor: Love and Thunder. But
That's true, but it was done well, and little breaks of humor and everything. Yeah, this movie was just very well crafted, and as a whole piece, it was put together very well. I said to Drew, it makes me feel a bit like curling up with a beloved horror story, like a book or something. Like I could just... It felt like it was adapted from a book or something. It was just so specific.
It felt oddly cozy.
Cozy, even though it was scary.
Even though it's set in like this haunted hotel and it's like very dark, muted colors. Like it's not a bright movie by any stretch of the imagination, but there was just something very much like curling up next to a warm fireplace with your favorite classic spooky ghost story. And I really enjoyed it. I also liked the fact that there was no explicit gore. It was very much a character-driven piece. The spooky elements were not overwhelming. It wasn't just like a nonstop scare fest. And for some, that might be seen as a disappointment, but I really dug the mood that they created.
I think the scary stuff was well paced. There were a few scenes that were really anxiety inducing while watching them. Like I was just like, oh, okay, I'm getting uncomfortable. Like this is the anticipation here is stressing me out. But they did give you good breaks and reprieves from it, and they were really good at building tension. I noticed that they employed tricks used in The Conjuring with a lot of stuff going on in the background, blink and you miss it kind of stuff. Same kind of like American Horror Story style. So there were like, you'd see a figure if you looked hard enough. And sometimes they did make it a bit more obvious because it was meant to kind of jump scare the audience, but other times it wasn't obvious. Other times I just happened to like ADD and notice it and be like, oh my, like I see stuff.
But if you're a seasoned horror fan who has seen a lot of them, like I think we both said that we weren't particularly scared watching watching it. There's certainly tension and there's some spooky imagery and a couple of jump scares that did get me, but nothing that like is going to like break my brain or like make me feel fearful driving home tonight.
I still think it's been many years since I've seen a truly scary movie, and for me, Undertone was that movie, and I know that it either scared you or it didn't, that film. And it seems like the people like me who it scared, we all projected personal stuff into it, and that's why it was scary. But Undertone, absolutely, like it's been months and I'm still thinking about it. Like it still scares me, and I have bad dreams sometimes about it, and I'm scared to listen to certain podcasts because of it. So this doesn't even register on the scary, but it was still a very enjoyable watch. Very cozy, the kind of way like when you trot out Dracula or something, like you're not expecting to be scared by Dracula. You might have a couple jump scares or something, but you know the book, you know the story, like, and this is based on like an Irish myth about a specific type of witch. And then there's other little myths that are kind of in there as well. And I love stuff like that. I love when they build it off of something believable. I remember a few years ago, you and I saw David Desmalchian, and we saw like the Boogeyman movie, and it was actually really enjoyable because it was based off of like a children's folklore that like we've all heard, we all know the Boogeyman, and they weren't trying to make him terrifying because we all have that reference point.
Wasn't that based on a Stephen King short story?
It might have been. It might have been. I'm not sure, but I just felt like they understood their audience. This was the same thing. They know we're not afraid of witches. They know we're not afraid of ghosts. We don't think these things are real, but they did a really good job of like niggling in the back of your mind with it.
And one thing I really loved is one thing that actually I did find quite spooky. Here I am saying I wasn't scared, but one thing that actually did unsettle me is a lot of like the carvings on the wall and the figurines and like some of the things that you see are very spooky, and the camera will go right in close and just show you this thing. And
here's a creepy little cherub.
And there's a really effective use of an old-fashioned clock that like dings a bell that actually takes a central role in it.
And I said noise, like music sound was going to play a role, and I just didn't know what role, but I could tell from the trailer that it was going to play some sort of role, and
it just felt really clever. And again, it felt like a video game with like pieces clicking together, and every new item that he gets unlocks further things to explore. It was very not what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting a non-stop in-your-face scare fest. It takes a while for the spooky stuff to even start. Like, it's a slow burn at the beginning, and But
the beginning does have a bit of a twist that I wasn't expecting. And it sets up the story. And looking from the outside in with only the trailer, I'd have been like, well, why did you need that? You didn't need that, because we all know he's going to stay at a hotel and it's like haunted or whatever. But it actually added more layers to it, and it really made me see the character different. And I think it was a bold choice, but a good creative choice.
When that moment happened, I was like, oh, okay, where are we going with this now? Like, it could have gone in many different directions, and I was really surprised. Although I will say there is one kind of quasi twist in it, like a plot development, that the moment they kind of introduced the breadcrumbs,
you and I looked at each other right away.
You and I both looked at each other right away. But it doesn't feel like that was like a big twist. It's like going to hinge on, if you predict this, it ruins the film. It doesn't, because I think they actually do reveal, not even like, it's not like an ending twist. They reveal it. And you're like, okay, so that's not like the big twist. Okay. And there is a little bit of a twist in that final scene where it introduces something that makes you go back and think about the events that just happened and recontextualizes. And I don't want to spoil, obviously, what that is, but I thought that was very neat. I'm walking out of it being like, I feel like I need to watch it again, and I feel like I need to think about it and analyze it. Just, I really enjoyed some of the ambiguities to it. It doesn't over-explain itself.
So the other film that he did was very similar.
Oddity.
You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet. I definitely want to watch it after that.
So it was very similar. It was much more grounded in people. Like, there was horror aspects, but it was secondary, and the reveal was really interesting and really drove the character development. And then when it kind of comes full circle at the end, it's very satisfying. And I know that Agatha Christie doesn't necessarily get chimed in with horror, but like, when I think about some of the adaptations we've seen and stuff like that, like, it does feel a little Agatha Christie to me, like, just like, oh, we're in the countryside in Ireland.
Well, she did have that one horror story, Halloween Party, that it got turned into one of the Kenneth Branagh Hercule Poirot.
Yeah.
They changed the title. It was like A Haunting in Venice, I think.
Yeah,
is what
yeah,
they
that
called the
we
movie.
saw, right.
And that kind of felt similar to that too, in the sense
Yes,
of like,
that's what I mean.
it compiles...
Same kind of like, feeling. But it's good. Like the way that they handle the supernatural stuff too, like it's really good. Like it's not like ridiculous CGI or something. And like Drew said, it's not like gore and blood and guts in your face 24/7. It does a really good job of building tension.
The other thing I wasn't expecting was I really thought it was going to be largely a solitary kind of ghost haunted story with the main character played by, is it Andrew Scott?
Adam Scott,
thank you. I thought it was largely just going to be him.
If you're watching Severance.
But it actually introduces like quite a few other interesting characters. It's sort of like, what if The Shining happened, but it wasn't just Jack and his family in it?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting there to be such a large group of interesting people surrounding it.
And even though it obviously has similar themes as The Shining, as 1408 or whatever, like, okay, it's a writer, he's secluded, he drinks, he's in a hotel, like it did its own thing. It did its own thing really well.
There were some really obvious Shining references.
Yes.
The very beginning when he's driving towards it, it's that long shot of the car driving, very much like the opening of The Shining, where it just shows Jack's car driving through the secluded highway.
And he's an a-hole, so like...
And there's also like a brief appearance of twins.
Yeah.
That would very much felt like a little Shining Easter egg.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't quite know what to expect from that movie walking in. And I saw the trailer and I still was quite surprised by it. So good job, Hokum trailer editor people, because you didn't give away really what this movie was. I
really want the art of the trailer to come back, but at the same time, I don't want trailers like long legs that lead me off in this direction to think the movie's going to be epic, and then I go to see it and I'm like, okay, well, it was okay. But like, so like if there's a happy medium, and the drama did a really good job of not giving away the big things and making me want to know. But Mother Mary made me think it was way more horror than it actually was, way more sexual tension than there actually was. So I appreciate like a good trailer like Hokum that just gives you a little bit of the mystery, just enough to get you going. And I wouldn't say it's misleading, but I would say it does use some of the best shots in the trailer.
The trailer does make you think it is going to be more of a balls to the wall horror film, but it's really more of like a spooky character driven ghost story.
Yeah, it really is like an old fashioned ghost story. It's just modern, but it really feels like an old fashioned ghost story.
But I feel like that's going to increase its appeal because again, it's not a disgusting gore fest like The Mummy was. It's not Terrifier or anything.
You can take your teen to go see it. A 14-year-old, 13-year-old could go see it. They'd be fine.
I feel like it'd be a really good starter horror film for like younger, not like super young, but like 13, 14-year-olds who are just starting to get into horror. I would just say, like, without
spoiling anything, obviously the guy is a depressed alcoholic, so there are themes of depression and mental illness and extremes that can kind of go with that, and just be aware of that if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff going in to watch it.
Substances play a role too, without spoiling anything.
Substances. So like those kind of adult themes, but I still think a 13-year-old could handle it as long as like the adult and they're having conversations kind of thing.
But it does make you care about the other characters, which was appreciated. There's one moment in the movie that like you actually like made an audible sound, and I was like, because it makes you care. It really does make you care.
I went, oh, and I was surprised that like nobody else in the theater did. I was like, really?
I feel like that movie is going to have wide appeal, though. It was a Thursday night screening that we went to. It was really busy. I'm trying to remember the last time we went to a Thursday night preview. Weapons.
I think Weapons had a lot of buzz, and that was we went with Aunt, and we went on a Thursday night, and it was quite busy. It was almost full
in IMAX.
So that one was
I'm not
good.
sure that this will be as impactful as Weapons, because Weapons had that amazing performance by Amy Madigan.
And really the kid element, I think, was a good element, even though it did do some out of the box things. I don't think this really did anything out of the box, but it kind of revisited things that we have maybe let fall to the wayside, in lieu of much more flashier, The Mummy style horror stuff. And actually like really good, gritty storytelling can build the anticipation and stress you out and make something scary, right?
There were also elements of like the Knives Out movies that it kind of reminded me of, in that it's
a good mystery.
It's not super violent. It's got interesting characters, a great setting.
You're trying to solve it. You're trying to solve all the little different threads. Like there's not many, but you're still trying to solve it, and you're looking for things and you're piecing things together. And sometimes you're guessing it and predicting it, and sometimes you're not. Like,
One thing that I do want to point out, though, is again, this is a Neon film, and Neon has kind of come out swinging the last couple of years of doing these really interesting horror films that you can't quite pin down. They do a little bit of everything, and they've kind of emerged like A24 as this really interesting production company. I feel really grateful in after so many years of like the MCU dominating everything and Fast and Furious films for dominating everything.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we have two companies like those that are releasing interesting genre films that you can't really box in and that seem to be giving a good return on their investment.
I feel like we're getting a lot of really good, interesting films this year, and some of them are flopping, and I don't think they're flopping because they're bad films. I think they're flopping because audiences are just not... The people who enjoy them don't have the budget to go out to see them, and the people who are going to see them are the people who just want slop. Like, they just want the routine, and it's too smart for them, or they get bored, or whatever. When I see comments under the movies lately, I just, like, you cannot even get 2 positive comments in a row. We're even at the point now where the big blockbusters are still getting stupid comments all the time, and it's just exhausting. Like, do you guys want movies or not? Do you want original movies or what? Like, if you don't like movies, then just stay home and stream. Thankfully we had a good audience, though.
We did have a very good audience.
I was the most disruptive one because I had to pee twice, and I felt terrible walking past people. I went one direction for one and then one direction the other because I didn't want to upset the same people twice. I felt awful, but and I think that actually did take me out of the film a bit because it broke the tension for me a little too prematurely, and then I was like trying to get back in and get to it. So anyway, overall though, like, really positive experience. So how would you rate it?
So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Just because I can't go higher than that because, again, it didn't do anything revolutionary. It didn't particularly scare me, but I really enjoyed watching it. I really enjoyed the atmosphere that it built. It surprised me with the direction and what it really was about. To a degree. And it wasn't, I don't feel bait and switched. I just feel pleasantly surprised at, this is the kind of film that it is. So I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 just because it washed over me like a very comfortable curl up on a Saturday night with a glass of wine and a good ghosty story to read, but it's not revolutionary. I'm not going to give it any higher than an 8.
Right. So I'm giving it a 7.5 for pretty much all the reasons you said. The only reason I'm going a little bit lower is I did find I got a little bored in some places. Maybe I think I just did go in expecting it to be a little bit more extreme, and that's fine. I think, though, I probably could have had just as good an experience at home. Like, I don't think I necessarily needed to see it in the theater to have this full experience. But I do think it was, like, overall a very well made film. I might watch it again when it comes on streaming just to see if there's other stuff. But by the end of the year, I'm not sure that I'm going to be like sticking it on my top 10. Like, it might depend on everything else that comes out. Like, it is just a good film. It's just a good film. Like, I don't really have anything super negative to say about it, but I also don't have anything super amazing to say about it either. I think, like Drew, I think it's going to have mass appeal, and it probably sounds really funny for me to be like, yeah, it was good, and then be like, I love The Bride, blah, and like everybody hated that, and they're all just like, right now, your opinion is shit. We don't care. But it's true. Like, it was just a good movie. It was a good flick. It was good. It was a good thing. I could have streamed it though. Like, I feel like I could have streamed it. I more so just enjoyed hanging out with Drew and seeing the film. We had dinner, and it is just really nice seeing a spooky movie, and there's like a spooky person walking towards us in like their hood because it's raining. But yeah, it was good, and we have a few more horror movies on the docket. What's coming up?
I'm so looking forward to Obsession. Ever since I first saw the trailer, this has been on my radar. I really like the main actor, Michael Johnson, who's in it, who has an excellent little like LGBT themed pop song that I very much enjoyed. But the trailer caught my attention, and it's just everything that's coming out about it. The director has already been tapped to do the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. The early buzz is so positive, and the descriptor of the rating just came out today. I sent it to you and Ange, and it sounds like it's going to be quite extreme compared to this, which was relatively
so
easy
tame.
Feel good watch.
I'm very curious what they're going to do with this, because I get the concept. I saw the trailer and I'm like, how far can you really do this? So like, I'm curious. I'm very curious. And I mean, it is kind of a monkey's paw. Like we've seen that theme before. Be careful what you wish for. So I'm like, cool. Like, what are you going to do different?
And
like,
we've also seen like the obsessed, there was an Australian horror film that came out many years ago called The Loved Ones, which was about like a super psychotic, obsessive girl. This one has a supernatural element that one didn't necessarily, but I'm very curious with all the buzz and how good it looks. I really hope it doesn't disappoint.
I find so interesting about these is it's a horror movie when it's a girl obsessed with the guy and it's always some supernatural thing. But when it's a guy obsessed with the girl, it's a murder movie and it's real life. Like, okay, so we have to suspend reality to be like, oh, the crazy female fan or the crazy girlfriend, you know what I mean? Even though some do exist in real life. But I just find that funny that it's almost a trope that you see that a lot in movies. But I am very curious to see what they do. I thought the trailer was very well done. We're also going to see Devil Wears Prada, but we probably won't do a big review of that just because our blockbuster reviews don't get views and we are busy people who have to like conserve energy. Gosh, I feel like there's more, but
there's Passenger, there's Backrooms.
Yeah, you're really excited for Backrooms. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the people behind us were talking about it nonstop when the trailer went on.
Yeah,
and people were talking about it in the women's bathroom when I went in. So there's definitely a lot of hype for that movie.
And I'm really glad because it seems like such an kind of out there concept and out there film, and there's nothing overtly horrifying in the trailer. Yeah, but it seems to have really caught people's attention, and I think it's going to be bigger than we're expecting.
Yeah, I think it's just one of these things where I'm so used to it being lore on the internet that I'm like, okay, it's like talking about Slender Man, but I forget that no, there's lots of people that don't know about this stuff, so like this is new to them. But I'm gonna be really interested to see also what they do with that. And there's been some video game adaptations and stuff, so I think it should be cool. But overall, like we have a lot of movies lined up to see, and I think the spring is going to be good for them. And I've been finishing up some TV shows that I've been enjoying too that have been really good. And I don't know, maybe I'll throw in a couple of those onto shorts for some reviews. But I know we're a movie channel, but you know, sometimes stuff just comes out. Like, for instance, when Mike Flanagan does his Carrie adaptation and his Mist adaptation, like we'll probably talk about those at some point. So anyway, please like and subscribe. Click the bell if you want to be notified. YouTube is changing how they do the little bell notifications so that you can customize exactly what you want to get emails about and see in your feed. They are really trying. I just got an email about it because of my other account. They are really trying to streamline and make it easier for viewers to see only the content they want to see and not the stuff. That being said, Drew and I post a couple of long forms a month and a couple of shorts a month. We're not out here posting every day. We're not going to spam up your inbox, but we do really, really appreciate every single person who watches and gives us feedback.
Every new subscriber makes my heart jump a little bit.
He does. He literally messages me over every single subscriber. At some point, we will hopefully have enough subscribers that he stops doing that. But right now, he's like, woohoo, we got one. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, my other account just got 1,000. Awesome.
I'm new to this.
No, so I love it. I love it. It's so sweet. He sent me a screenshot being like, look, this video got a new uptick probably from streaming or something. And I'm like, cool, my short just did like 100K. And it's also very humbling for me to be starting from scratch on this channel, though. It's good practice to like build with our audience and rapport. And honestly, there's a few of you who are always commenting on stuff. Like Anne is always commenting. Thank you so much. So big shout out to you. And we'll see you at the movies.
We'll see you at the movies. But overall, I did enjoy it, even though it was less of an overt horror than I might have been expecting. But I'm just... We're having a little road rage incident here.
Oh my god, he's like following him.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Are we gonna have to give this to the police? Jeez, he's literally following him. Parking next to him, do you think they know each other? Or do you think he's gonna go to yell at him?
I think he's gonna get out to yell at him. Anyway, we'll pause in our recording if there's like an assault that happens here. But what were we saying?